think it talks about his resiliency and his ability to overcome, an adverse situation. He was just fighting for extra yards. It was a very good play by their defensive back to strip the ball, to give them the credit. But he was able to, put that one behind him. That's one thing, when you're a receiver or a quarterback or a player that's out front all the time, you got to be able to put those, those good plays and bad plays behind you and move on to the next one. And Roddy has been able to do that.
Coach, given all that was made of the helmet-to-helmet hits this week leading up to this game, what were your thoughts on the hit that Grimes put on Shipley? And also, did you notice a difference in the way guys played because of that?
No, I didn't, Buck. In terms of helmet-to-helmet contact, you're basically talking about a defenseless player. And there's 5 categories of defenseless player. And I thought it was a hard-fought game. Marvin and his staff did a good job in their preparation, and I didn't feel any difference. It was very aggressive football by both teams out there today.
Coach, going in at halftime with such a big lead, was there any concern about losing some of that intensity coming out for the second half?
There wasn't a concern because it's something that has never happened to us in terms of our football team. And as I said, I think it's a learning lesson. It's a lesson for us, as a team, to find out how we can overcome those situations. Because believe me, when you're up 21-3 at halftime, and then I think go down 25-24 when we start the fourth quarter, it says a lot about our guys. I don't believe that they were overconfident one bit. I know it's a 60-minute game, and they were able to make some plays there in the third quarter. They won the third quarter. We won the other 3.
Mike, there was no penalty on it or anything like that, but when Thomas Deku had the helmet-to-helmet contact with Cedric Benson in the first quarter, is some of that just part of playing a football game that is going to happen?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. And again, when you're a runner, okay, and when you're a runner, that means that you've caught the ball and have taken 2 steps. Now you're a runner, and there is no rule concerning helmet-to-helmet contact. Again, the helmet-to-helmet contact is only on a defenseless player.
Coach,
yes, John.
in the Bengals comeback, how much do you think injuries took their toll on your team? You had 2 starters out in the secondary. You had Mahaley and Peel, 2 key blockers in the run game.
Well, again, when a guy's down, the next guy's got to step up, and that's something that I think that this team has done, not only today, but for the 3 years that we've been here as a staff. They understand that every man at some point in time is going to be needed that's on our 53-man roster. And of course, you always want to have your best players out there. But when you get into week 5, 6, 7, 8, and beyond, injuries are going to be a factor. And other guys that are playing in backup roles are going to have to step up. And I thought, the guys that had the opportunity to do it this week did it.
What happened to Thomas on the hit on Benson, and is he okay?
Well, they would not allow Thomas to come back in the ballgame. And again, I don't know how. I know it was a helmet or a head injury. I don't know what they're calling it right now. But both he and Ovi were out after their injuries. And I have not met with the trainers yet, but I know that both of those guys at halftime were ruled out of the football game.
Is that the best group of...
playing, going back and forth between fullback and running back for you today?
Well, Daryl, it's something that Jason's had to do in the 3 years that we've been here, and he continues to do it effectively. He had to line up and play fullback in our personnel groupings that normally Ovi would be manning, and it just again speaks to the ability for him to play a number of positions. Jason is a guy that can play fullback, tailback, and I believe he knows our offense well enough that in a pinch he can go out and play some of the other positions as well.
Is that the best group of receivers that you guys have played against so far this season?
That's a very talented group. Both of those wideouts that were out there today are guys that have had great careers. We knew it was going to be a challenge for us. We knew that they were going to make their plays. Our biggest thing is that we wanted to try to keep the ball with those 2 guys in front of us and not let them throw it over our head. I think we had mixed results in that regard today.
Coach, could you talk about the play of the offensive line? good job running.
Yeah. Darryl, I thought that the offensive line, we kept the pocket clean, and that's very important to be successful in throwing the football. You got to keep that pocket clean. It's not necessarily just giving up sacks; it's keeping the pocket clean where the quarterback can step up and go through his progressions. And I thought that they did a good job today. And again, the run blocking by the offensive line, we got Michael going with I think he was over 120 yards rushing today. And that's what we want to be able to do, guys, is we want to be able to run the ball and throw the ball. And I think Matt was right at 300 yards passing, thereabouts. And when you run the ball for 120 yards with your number one back, you're going to have a heck of a game. And, Roddy, 11 catches, 201 yards. It's a wonderful game for Roddy as an individual. But I think that the group as a whole was able to be very, very resilient.